Hi guys, welcome to Recap Hub. Today we'll explain a movie called Maze Runner. It was released in 2014, so let's go to the explanation. The movie starts with the scene of a boy who awakes in a running elevator. The boy was confused about the situation. The elevator stopped and some boys opened its door. The boy came out and the other boys surrounded him. The boy got scared and started to run. Suddenly fell and found himself around a place which was surrounded by a wall. They put the boy in a cave and Alvy asked for his address. The boy forgot everything and Alvy took him around to look. Alvy said they left there and the elevator supplied everything with a new boy every month. There the boy met with Newt. Alvy told me about the rules of the place and also about a door. The boy went down to look at the door, but Chuck stopped him. Two boys came out from the door and they were runners. Only they were permitted to leave on the maze and they knew more about the maze. The boy also wanted to see what's inside, but they stopped him. Suddenly the door closed. At night, they were having fun together near the fire camp. Newt offered him food and drinks. The drinks were weird and Newt said Gally made those. Then Newt told the boy about the runner and introduced Minho, their leader. The runners know better than anyone about the maze. They ran inside when the door opened and were trying to find the way out from there for the last 3 years. Then Newt noticed the boy of the sound from the maze. Newt said that the maze changed every night. The runner came out from the maze before the shutting of the door. Otherwise, they remain stuck there and no one knows about their location. Newt then introduced all the groups there. The boy wanted to be a runner. Newt said the runner must have been chosen by the team. Gally offered the boy a fight. Gally was strong, but the boy somehow defeated him with his intelligence. Gally got angry and kicked the boy. The boy fell and remembered his name, Thomas. Then everyone chattered his name. Suddenly, a scream came out from the maze and Gally said that it was Grievers and Thomas was safe with them. While sleeping, Thomas was dreaming about his past. Suddenly, Alvy called him quietly and took him on a walk. They arrived near a wall and Alvy told him about others there and gave him a knife. There was a name printed on the wall and there was some name which was deleted. Alvy told them they had died there. Then Thomas printed his name on the wall. Next day, Thomas was helping Newt and told him they could go back by using the elevator. Newt said they tried many times but failed. The only way out from there was through the maze. Newt told Thomas to dig some fertilizer for the plant. Thomas went inside the jungle to find fertilizer. He discovered some skeletons of humans there. Suddenly, Ben arrived behind him and attacked him. Thomas hit him and was trying to run from there. Ben was running behind him. Thomas was shouting for help while running. The other helped him and they found a mark on Ben's chest. Then they take him away from there. Thomas asked Alvy about this. Alvy said, "It's called the changing and the infection will get worse." Alvy asked what Ben told him before attacking. Thomas told that it was his fault and Ben saw him. Thomas asked what would happen to Ben, but Alvy did not answer. They arrived before the door. Minho took Ben in front of the door, cut the rope and threw a bag of food and water into the door. Ben was trying not to go inside, but others were pushing him inside through the poles. They pushed him inside and the door shut. Gally erased the name from the wall. Thomas asked Chuck what would happen to Ben. Chuck said, "Nobody knows about it." Thomas was dreaming about a girl, and there were also doctors around him. The next morning, Minho and Alvy went inside the maze. Thomas asked why Alvy went inside even though he was not a runner. Newt said that every month there would be a new one, and someone had to be a runner. This time, it was Alvy. Then Thomas helped them to cut the tree. There was raining and everyone was waiting there for them to come back. The door was closing, and they saw they were coming towards them. They were calling them to inspire. Minho was taking Alvy's body, and they did not make it. Thomas was watching them and suddenly went inside before closing. Minho welcomed him for death. Alvy was stung and unconscious. There was screaming in the maze. Minho wanted to leave without Alvy, but Thomas did not want to. Minho was trying to understand Alvy, but failed. Then they pulled Alvy with them. They were tired and decided to hang his body before leaving. They were pulling his body, but all of a sudden, a monster arrived there. Minho told Thomas to leave, but Thomas did not want to leave. Minho escaped from there without them. Thomas took the rope and hid under the plant. The monster left the place and did not find Thomas. Thomas then tied the rope and went out from there. Thomas faced away the monster and ran to escape from it. He climbed up on the wall and jumped on the plant. The monster also jumped, but was trapped in the plant. Suddenly, Minho found Thomas, and they both were running together. The maze was changing, but Thomas was waiting for the monster to follow them before closing. Thomas runs through the wall while closing. The monster followed him and died by being stuck on the wall. The next morning, the other boys were waiting outside and saw them coming. Gally arranged a meeting for Thomas. He blamed Thomas for breaking the rule and asked Minho to decide for him. Minho told Thomas was the first who ever killed a monster. Minho proposed to Thomas to be a runner, and everyone accepted that. Suddenly, there was a noise, and it was the noise of an elevator. This time, there was a girl on the elevator. There was a hand note on her hand. The note was that she was the last one sent by. The girl rose and called Thomas's name. They took the girl inside their shelter. Newt asked Thomas if he knew her or not. They were also worried about the note, because if she was the last one, then there would be no delivery of food and other resources. Thomas wanted to go in the maze again, but Minho stopped him. Thomas was curious to know about the monster also. Another thing in the maze, but he was alone, and Minho told all the other runners to quit after Alvy got stung. Minho told Thomas to wait in the forest. Minho, with 3 others, joined them and ran to the maze. They went to the place where the monster was stuck. They pulled out the dead monster and found an electrical device on its head. Then they again came back to their house. They showed that device to all. Thomas said it was the same thing that made those monsters and also sent humans to this place. Gally was angry at Thomas for breaking the rule, but Newt made him officially a runner. Minho took Thomas in the middle of the jungle to a house. There he showed a map of the maze that they made in the last 3 years. Minho showed all the sections about the maze. Now, they were getting ready to escape the maze. The girl woke and started to throw them food. Thomas came there and shouted his name. Then he went up to the top of the tower. The girl's name was Teresa, and she could not remember anything. Thomas told her everything that happened to all of them. Teresa was astonished to remember only Thomas's name. They both were having the same dream, and Teresa was the girl in Thomas's dream. They both hear the same word in their dream. Then Teresa took out 2 bottles of medicine from her pocket. They both realized they had come here for a reason. They tried to put that medicine to Alvy, but attacked Thomas. Teresa injected the medicine, and Alvy became calm. Gally put Thomas in the cave as punishment. Chuck gave him food and showed a doll as a symbol of his parents. Thomas assured him that the next day they would find a way out. The next morning, they both went inside the maze. They came into the blade section of the maze, and the device started ticking. They followed the signal and came to a place where those monsters lived. They opened a door and they went inside. They were scanned and the door was closed. They were running and the blade were blocking their way. The maze started to change its shape and they somehow managed to escape. At the gate, Thomas blamed Gally for his participation there Teresa told me that Alvy was awake. Thomas told Alvy about everything, and Alvy was crying to remember the past. Suddenly, they were screamed about not closing the door. The door opened from every side. They were worried about the monster. The monster came out and started to hunt them. They both were running to hide. The monsters were hunting everyone. They took shelter in a house. The monster was breaking the house and pulled out Chuck. Alvy cut the weapon and saved him. Then it pulled Ulvy. Thomas was trying to save him, but failed. Ulvy told me to save them all before going. The monsters went away and Gally punched Thomas, thinking it was all his fault. Gally also marked him as one of them. Thomas realized and put the weapon in his body to remember everything. Thomas dreamed all the other things. Thomas woke up and told them that he and Teresa were one of them. They were experimenting on them. Thomas and Teresa both worked together, but they did not know why they sent them, even though they were one of them. Then they agreed to fulfill Alvy's wish. Gally divided the boys into two groups. They were preparing to escape Gally's situation. Thomas and Teresa were brought in front of the door. Gally was convincing everyone to hate them. Thomas was acting unconscious. Suddenly, he woke up and hit them. The others also put their weapon at Gally. Then Thomas's team offered them to join them or to be with Gally. Thomas told them he knew a way out. He offered them to find the way out together rather than be trapped there. Then many of them joined Thomas from Gally's team. Thomas offered Gally also join with them, but Gally denied it and wished them good luck. Thomas and his team went inside the maze. They came near to the door. A monster was moving in front of it. They planned to attack it and open the door. The device was held by Chuck. While fighting with the monster, the device was falling. Chuck saved it, and he was saved by Teresa. They pushed the monsters out from there, but other monsters also joined them. The gate opened by the device, and Chuck and Teresa went inside. Others were fighting back with the monsters. While fighting, some were hunted by the monster. The inside door opened, and there was a code lock on the door. Teresa asked about the code to Thomas. Thomas asked about the sequence of the maze to Minho. Minho was telling the code, but was suddenly pushed down by the monster before finishing. A boy risks his life to save Minho. Minho told the code, the door opened, and the monster was destroyed by the door. They went to a tunnel and found a door to a control room. There were many dead men inside there. Thomas and Teresa remembered their activity. Thomas pushed a button and there was a video message by a woman. The woman said they were tested for a medicine for a brain virus cure. They need to study the brain of the young man who went through harsh conditions. She said they were attacked by the opposite and killed. A door opened as a way out. Suddenly, Gally arrived there with a gun in his hand. He was stunned. Gally pointed the gun at Thomas and told them there was no freedom outside. He shot at Thomas, but Chuck saved him. Minho put a rod in Gally's body. Chuck was hit and gave Thomas the doll before died. They were crying, for Chuck's dead, and some soldiers came there and rescued them. While leaving, they saw the whole maze, and it was in the middle of the desert. The woman praised Thomas's success, and they agreed to begin the Facey 2 test. How was the movie? If you like it, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Let me know which movie's explanation you want to watch in comment.